Hello, Internet. It is MTGO, and today I am playing more Blue-Black Lantern Control. We've got our worries, baby. This list is going to be very similar to the last uh, Lantern video that I posted. The only difference is going to be that I have a consigned memory in the sideboard now. One of the things that I noticed when I was playing the Eldrazi Breach match in the last video was that Worldbreaker is pretty bad, and I don't have a good way of answering permanence directly. I feel like having something like Consigned to Memory might be good in that matchup, and having reactive things isn't a big deal for Ensnaring Bridge when you're playing the Eldrazi matchup, so it seems like a nice addition to the deck list. The only other change is that, or well, two more, I guess, technically. Welding Jar's on the main board now. We're going to give it a shot, see how it works. I think it makes more sense in the main board than in the sideboard, just because there's matchups where I want to board it out, even if in game one it can still be useful. And I don't know. It'll be a little bit better for testing if I keep it in game one. It's a 0-drop artifact too. Like the price of adding this in the deck isn't that high. It did eat up a slot of Bloodchief's Thirst, which I think might matter. We'll see if I really want this Welding Jar to be a spot removal spell when I draw it. One thing I forgot to mention in the last video entirely is that I'm on 3 Pixis and 3 Codex Shredder. Normally you run 4 Codex Shredders and then fill in the other rocks to round out your 6, so either 2 Pixi or 1 Pixis, 1 Ghoul Color spell. The reason I'm doing the 3 Pixis is because the Exile clause is pretty relevant in the meta right now, I feel like. So even though we get more control with the Codex Shredder, having the extra exile with the Pixis seems like it could be pretty useful, especially when Eldrazi Breach is one of the most popular decks in the meta right now. They run 4 copies of Emrakul. I need a way to get rid of those in the main deck, and I need lots of redundancy for that, because they're probably going to shuffle at least once over the course of the game. Yeah, that's all I have. Easy intro. This deck version is going to be the September 5th version, September 5th, 2024. If you go in the Moxfield description and you go into the primer section of that link, that should be this exact list. Yeah, let's jam. Hey folks, jumping ahead of match 1. This league is nuts. It is made for content. There are crazy things happening in all of the matches, except for match 3, really. Match 3, my opponent wasn't really feeling it, and just kind of he quit match 2 pretty quickly. It was kind of a toss-up who was going to win that, but he wasn't feeling his deck. So if there's a match to skip, it's going to be that one. If there is a match that you want to watch, match 4 gets wild. But, I mean, there's crazy things going on all over the place in this league. So I hope you enjoy. I didn't know what to say by the end of this league. It gets kind of nuts. So enjoy. Gotta spend the play points. There we go. Match 1 has begun. We are on the draw. Opponent has revealed Gigantha, and we have drawn a 5-land hand. We are going to mulligan this. So, it's likely that they are energy. With that in mind, how do I feel about this hand? It technically digs for a bridge. I can bottom one of these lands. On the draw, this is so slow, though. I feel like I'm kind of down just to go to a 5-card hand and just keep a serviceable 5-card hand, try and race for bridge that way. Let's try again. Okay, well, this is basically the same hand with 1 less card in it, which honestly is an upgrade in these situations. So I'll keep this. The Watery Grave is definitely going to the bottom, and I think the Otawara also goes to the bottom. We get an extra shuffle for the Lantern this way. Or for the, to look for bridge. Opponent gets a turn 1 Guide of Souls. Okay. Cage isn't very exciting. I think I lead on Inquisition. Let's try and slow our opponent down. Oh yeah, there's the Ocelot Pride. We definitely want to get rid of that one. That one gets out of hand so quickly. They have a lot of lands still in hand. I'm happy about that. Okay, they play out a Marsh Flask. They just swing in with the single Guide of Souls. That's fine. Codex Shredder. Alright, let's start with the Lantern. They have a Blood Moon on top. I don't like that. I'm going to fetch a basic island. There's our 3rd mana that we will need. So I'm probably not going to have black mana for the rest of the game if I let them draw the Blood Moon. I think that's fine because I can police the top card of my library pretty well. They might also just surveil this away. I think I'm just going to Codex Shredder for now, and let's see what my opponent does, and then on upkeep we decide. I keep getting hasty and milling in main phase when I forget that my opponent can fetch on end step. Which they do, in this case. That makes sense, I think. They're trying to race me even faster. Like, Blood Moon doesn't really increase their clock, it just slows me down. Oh, they just fetch a basic plains, huh? Okay. I'll live with that. So I'm wondering in our circumstance if it's worth us milling our land, expecting that we hit more lands and that we have less copies of Bridge in the deck. I don't think that's the case when we run something like Whir. Okay, opponent surveils, they bin their Flage. Okay, so they did the mill decision for me. Oh wow, Static Prison, huh? Okay. You're gonna take the Lantern? That seems like the wrong choice. They only have one energy at the moment. Okay, they take the Shredder. Well, I'm gonna make a mill of Johnny, because they can't have that. Second Flage, you got it. Oh, they get 3 energy right now. And then they can just pump up one of their Guida Souls right now. I see. I think that's the idea. Oh no, they really just want to take the Codex Shredder. Okay. You can have that 100%. I will draw this Watery Grave. Perfect, there's a Whir. That does mean that they get to keep their Flage, but I'm not concerned about that. So I'll play up Pixis. Play the Grafdigger's Cage. Oh right, Grafdigger's Cage answers the Flage. So I really don't care about the Flage at all. And next turn, I have exactly enough for Whir of Invention. That Arena of Glory is a blank. Cool. I think we're good. Okay, they played a Marsh Flask. They run out their Flage that they drew. I'm just gonna... Well, I shouldn't auto-pass, maybe, but... Just gonna let them do their thing here. They're gonna swing in for... They can swing in for 4 if they want. And they do want. Cool. Alrighty. I will pass the turn. Opponent probably fetches in the end step here. Nope. They want their Arena of Glory. Perfect. I just need to make sure in start combat, which is right now, that I do this immediately. We'll Whir for the bridge. They put Gigantha in hand. Okay. I'll just drain my opponent for 2. How much energy? They have no energy. So I'm getting this Codex Shredder back no matter what. In that case, then I'm happy letting them draw this Ocelot Pride. Cool. Yeah, we have 2 Mill Rocks. We're set. I'm just going to start skipping to end step here. They're fetching in their main phase for some reason. Oh, to play Gigantha, I see. You're more than welcome to do that. Okay, I'm gonna mill myself here. I don't want that Thoughtseize either. Saga's fine. Candy Trail will dig us where we need to go as well. Which, at this point, is just finding mill rocks, that's all. Like, the mill their bolt. Ragavan is fine, they can have that. Cool. Yeah, I think we're good. I'll leave the Brutality on top. I'll just try and shoot the Ocelot Pride. So it stops causing a bunch of end step triggers. It'll streamline my plays. Okay, end step, I will have them mill a card. That's in a Johnny. I do still kind of want this Brutality. So I'm just going to draw this right now. I can Needle the Johnny. Yeah, that's fine. I'll just Needle the Johnny. Well, I don't really want this Pixis. Or I don't want the Lantern. Excuse me. There we go. We'll go tutor out another Shredder. I will remove this Ocelot Pride from the board. Yeah, at this point, I'll update with anything relevant. Okay, there we go. Opponent's got the gist. They have 11 cards left in library. They did hit a lucky streak in there. I'm not really gonna subject you guys to watching that because it wasn't that interesting, but they had like 2 amped raptors in a chain and I was just aggressively milling them, and they did scare me a little bit because I went 4 cards deep and I was like, oh, I still want to hit these things. But it wouldn't have been a big risk if I let them have amped raptors. So the Toxic Deluge has come in. But now that I'm looking at my sideboard, I don't really have a lot here. I think the Feed the Swarm also comes in. I think maybe the Whir of Inventions come out. At least one comes out, because this is a very aggressive matchup. I think the Welding Jar can come out. Well, they do run like some Wear Tears. That's their sideboard interaction, I think, is Wear Tear. But like they run like 2 Static Prisons and 1 or 2 Wear Tears. I don't think the Jar is going to be a big deal here. I think I can take out the, maybe just another Whir. Like, the needles aren't crazy important. Like, I could probably shave one of those. They're not really on as many bombardments as they used to be, I don't think. Oh, wait, no, they run the 1 ring now. Yeah, never mind. I need the needles. I can leave in 1 safety Whir, maybe. We'll try it like this. If Boros Energy went the way of the 1 ring, that might mean that they've slowed down a little bit. That would be an amazing. Oh, this is interesting. So this hand has a lot of good stuff. It's just gonna struggle because it doesn't have good mana. It has a Deluge. It has a Feed the Swarm and a Collective Brutality. So there's 3 removal spells. Thoughtseize is amazing too, but this land doesn't tap for black reliably, so I think we're just gonna mulligan this, because if I don't hit more lands over time, I'm gonna get stuck with these in hand, I think. This is a lot better. I am very happy with this hand. I think the Candy Trail is the worst card here. Well, technically the Pixis, I think, is the worst card, but I want to be able to lock him out quickly. Candy Trail would gain me life, but we're on the draw. I think it's fine. We'll do this. Okay, opponent goes turn 1 Ocelot Pride. That is the worst start that we could face. Ooh, drawing the cookbook naturally is awesome, though. That's very good news. I'll Inquisition them. Ooh, double amped Raptor Ajani. I think I'd take one of the amped Raptors here, and I'll just put a needle on Ajani. I'll just park it there. Because I don't want them to spiral out of control here. The amped Raptors definitely will do that. Well, the Ajani will do that too, actually. Their hand is very explosive. I'm a little nervous about this Ensnaring Bridge, though. If I don't get this down next turn, that's pretty scary. Okay, yeah, they're going to get an extra cat as well. We draw another needle. I don't want to see another needle. I think I'm going Cookbook. I'm going to go Needle. Needle's going to name the backside of Ajani. And I'm going to try and discard a card this turn. Opponent goes Elegant Parlor. They will Surveil. They like their cards, so that's good to know for next turn. They're going to bash in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then they'll play out an Amped Raptor, which means that they will get the Ascend as well. Yikes. Yeah, this is a big turn here. But they hit another Ajani. Okay. Of all the hits that they could have had, that's not a good one. It's still good, don't get me wrong, but this is manageable. I'm thinking that I get rid of the Pixis here. This needle on Goblin Bombardment is going to be very important, I feel like. Oh, we hit the land. Oh, yes. Okay. I think we slammed the bridge because that uses our mana most effectively. And it also locks out 2 of their creatures. 3 of their creatures, excuse me. Oh, 4 of their creatures. Cool. So they can swing it for 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh. Okay. Opponent uses Wear, but they don't use it on the bridge. They use it on the Pithing Needle for Ajani. Oh, right. Okay, I forgot. Yeah, the 0. Wait, they deal 1, 2, 3, 4 damage? Oh, I'm not dead yet. I've been given a lease on life. This second Pithing Needle will save the day. Oh my god. No way. Oh, this Saga's really good too. Johnny, Nekotl, Avenger. So here's the real question. Do I try and fade Lightning Bolts and just slam Saga this turn? Oh, I can make I can just pop a food right now. Yeah, I do this. Go to 4, pass the turn. Ooh, this is right on the wire here. Looks like that's a... Oh, it's Giganta. Okay. Opponent kept a card in hand. Usually that means that it's a lightning bolt. I guess it could also be a land. Okay, Amped Raptor. What do you hit? Ah, they hit the Goblin Bombardment. Okay. So I'll just F6. They're gonna have to sack their creatures. I just need some clock. If they're gonna make me combo, then I'm gonna make them do their thing as well. That's so unfortunate. We were 1 turn from stabilizing. Okay, game 3. Ah. I'm sad. Do I run this any differently? I'm still thinking about this Whir of Invention. Like, they saw that I'm a greedy mana base. I don't think they saw my basics, and they saw that I run Urza Saga, so I would imagine that they leave the Blood Moons in the deck and don't touch those. And if that's the case, then Whir of Invention is a really big liability. I also don't know what would come out for that. I think I whack submit again. I kind of want to make room for a second Whir, but at this point, like, I think the rest of the list is fine. The only thing that I would do is maybe cut a Milrock, because I don't need a strong lock against Boros to do work. Oh, you know what? My opponent's running Fable of the Mirror Breaker. That's normally where the One Ring slot is, so they're probably not running the One Ring. I should keep that in mind when I play. This hand is really good, as long as I don't draw another land. I am on the playout as well, which is good. So I think this is going to be, this is going to sound a little crazy, but maybe I go like turn 1 Saga, and then just race for the cookbook, or race for a needle. Actually, I don't know if I like that. Nah, I'll do a turn 2 Saga, because if they interact with the bridge in any way, I need a construct token to block. Or, that's not going to matter, actually. They just fly over my stuff. I'm going to keep this, regardless. I don't know if I draw off the Bauble immediately, just because I have everything that I really want in hand first. Yeah, I'm going to turn 1 Saga. We ball. It's going to be fun. They have an Ajani. I don't like that. But Saga can find a needle for Ajani. I'm okay with that. Static Prison definitely goes away, though. Okay, they have the Ocelot Pride start again, so clock is ticking. Okay, I'll go River, Shredder, Shredder, Bobble, go to Upkeep. They will mill. They find a Raptor. I'll let them have the Raptor for now, just because I need to police their top card. Okay. No bombardment for you. Play just fine. You can have that. That's expensive and slow. Okay. Tap for colorless. Oh, we were gonna draw the cookbook too. We're drawing live. Johnny, Nicodle, Avenger on the Pithing Needle. Run out the bridge. And then I have Collective Brutality as well, which is really nice. I can discard this Lantern. So we have a strong lock. This is pretty much all that we can ask for. I really want to see their hand, though. That's the one thing that's making me a little bit nervous. Amtraptor's spinning into a land. I gotta let them have that. What did they find? Okay, another Ocelot Pride. That's fine. I think I just trust that my opponent doesn't have a way to interact with the bridge. I'm just going to drain them and look at their hand. And they have another Amped Raptor, and that's it. Okay. So if this Amped Raptor misses, then we're golden. Was it like this? Okay, their Amped Raptor will miss. Okay, they're not playing it this turn. Never mind. This Inquisition can rip their Amped Raptor out of hand. Oh, right, wait, they had 2 of them? Really? I didn't realize that. Oof. Okay, well, we take 1. There's a Goblin Bombardment. They cannot have that one. Opponent's going to Flage. Interesting. They're flipping over their cat. I don't understand why they're doing that. I guess they don't have anything better to do? Okay, end step, I will have them mill. End step, I will also mill myself, because I'm kind of looking for a needle on Goblin Bombardment. I guess Saga's okay. Yeah, Saga's okay. Okay, that static prison has to go, though. Guide of Souls comes out. Yep. Okay, no static prison. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. This is where things get dicey. This means that my opponent gets to look at a card that I can't predict. Yeah, I would have to crack Lantern immediately to stop them, because like this is assuming I only need to look one card deep. What did they hit? They hit Wear Tear. They can cast that too. Brutal. Did they wait? They blew up the needle again. Did they kill me with that? I don't think they killed me with that. I'm at 1 again. Why did they do that? They could just blow up the bridge and attack. I'm so confused, man. However, I'm in a predicament because I need a needle for a Johnny. I'm gonna crack the Bauble to get an extra look as well. Okay, this is the moment of truth here. So I'll mill a card. Deluge on 1 doesn't work. Even though their entire board state, except for this one Guide of Souls, has 1 toughness. Oh, that sucks so bad, because if I had 2 life, I could get rid of all their red permanents. That's so funny. Well, I can't gain any life this way, so I'm gonna have to mill myself again. Okay, I get 1 free draw. Okay, this has to be Needle. Let's do it. That sucks. Oh, we had things like under control too for so long. They just spun 3 Amped Raptors in a row. We were at 19. It makes me so sad. I'm gonna have to talk to people to see, like, if opponents go to Amped Raptor when there's a land on top and you only have like 1 or 2 mill rocks, like, you don't mill the land. I think you just have to let them like spin. Maybe I should have. Maybe I should have went digging. I'll have to think about that. Comment what you would have done in those games, because we were so close both times. Opponent misplayed both times, I think. They should have just killed the bridge both times, but either way. On to match 2. Alright, match 2. Cool, match 2. We're on the play. This is a good hand in the blind. A little unfortunate that we're going to have to fetch a Watery Grave here, but this hand has a decent curve out and plan and stuff. I'm pretty sure this is a turn 1 Inquisition hand. I kind of want to get a read on my opponent and what they're up to. Turn 1, this looks like a Frog Tide play as well. Okay, well, ooh. Opponent is on Yawgmoth. So I have the Cage in hand. That's really good. I think I take the Wall of Roots. Nothing else really matters in this hand, I don't think. But the Wall of Roots accelerates them the fastest over time. I guess I could also take one of the Young Wolves, but I'm going to run out of Cage next turn. So I'm not too worried about them like comboing out or anything. Ooh, Saga's a good hit. Yeah, I'm going to run out the Saga. So we are on the turn 4 Whir of Invention plan here. The opponent paused on that Cage a little bit longer than the Pixis. It must have let a heavy sigh right there. Okay, Twilight Mire is played. They might hold up Bowmasters, but I feel like double Young Wolf is probably just what they're more interested in doing. Those are more resilient to board interaction. Yeah, they're just tapping right now. They tap black-green. So that means they probably have a Thoughtseize? Oh, duh, I forgot. The Halfling taps for mana. Yeah, we're good. Oh, and because they played out the Twilight Mire, they had to sequence weird, so that's why they did everything main phase. I am going to Pixis on end step because they have a lot of one-ofs. Like Haywire Might and... what's it called? The whatchamacallit. You know, the thing. Haywire Might, Blood Artist, Ulapur Cutthroat, whatever their sack outlet is, or their drainer is. I think I'm more interested in slamming a bridge. This is a nightmare of chump blockers. And I have 2 bridges and a Whir anyways. I need to get these out of my hand, and these are low power creatures. Although I suppose 1 Saga is just the ultimate blocker. That would stop them from attacking, but I'd rather have one of these out. You know, force them to answer one of them. Okay, they find a Rumble. Young Wolf Cord and 2 Bosejus. Okay, that's actually really good news for us. They milled over both their Bosejus. And they kept one of them. That makes sense. That's the only thing out of their selection that does anything. Even if they could pick Cord, it's dead. Opponent is fetching with Catacombs. Please tell me they shoot the bridge. I'd be very happy if they shoot the bridge. They might shoot the cage instead. That probably is more important to them. That would make me sad. But if they shoot the bridge, I'll be happy. He even ramps me. I would love to ramp. Oh, they're tapping weird. Is that Yogg mana? That is suspiciously Yogg mana. Okay, they do Boseiju the bridge. Awesome. That is good news for me. I even get my Whir online this way. Look at that. It's all according to plan. I'll move to end step now. So both their Boseijus are gone. I doubt they run more than 2. I would be very surprised if they run more than 2, in fact. Another Saga is fantastic. I'm going to fetch up a Lantern here. Let's reach our end game. Ooh. Okay, well, I'm going to run out this Saga no matter what. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damage coming at my face next turn. That's not a lot. I could probably just Whir for a Needle. Although I think I want to wait for them to commit to Yawgmoth first before that happens. Yeah. I'll just let the mana fizzle. Oh, we can hit a Might. Getting that out of the deck is mission critical. There's the Yogg mana. We'll do this while Yogg is on the stack so that we don't have to worry. We'll grab... Why is this so tiny? Go Pithing Needle. Yawgmoth ran position. Yawgmoth resolves. And we find a bridge on top. I'm going to exile the bridge. I don't think we need other bridges at this point. Especially now that Might's gone. Okay, I'll just skip the end step here. Oh, right, I still got to click the button on the combat step. And yeah, end step. Might's gone. There's our bridge. Opponent's probably kicking themselves because we just found 3 bridges in rapid succession, and a Whir, which could have also been a bridge if we wanted it to be. End step. I guess I'll keep this Brutality. Their Halfling is not a big deal. Like a Construct. I will grab a Codex Shredder. We'll just take a look at their hand, just so I know what they're working with over there. I don't think there's anything I care about anymore. Yeah, okay, it was a Boggart Trawler. We're in the clear. Okay, they have a Grist on top of their library. That's not long for this board state, or for this table. I mill them. Cool, Blooming Marsh. We'll run out this cookbook. We have 4 mana, that's enough. So, I'll start pitching things to the cookbook. But I guess I could go digging for some more interaction while I'm waiting. Oh, another Pixis is awesome. You know what? I kind of do want the 5th mana so that I can pop this Codex Shredder. Oh, but I'll just be looking for more Mill Rocks. Never mind, that doesn't matter. Okay, there's a Soul Cauldron. I will mill, or do I mill those? Do I care? Do they have anything in the graveyard that I care about? The Might's gone. I think I mill it just to be safe. Yeah, Bowmasters is cool. I don't care about that. Okay. Opponent goes to... Or, let me get rid of the Thoughtseize off my library. I don't want that. Yeah, land's fine, whatever. We'll just make our food. And pass. We are slightly ahead on time, which is really good. Okay, we have Cage, right? Yeah, we have Cage, so they can have the cord. Malevolent Rumble is something we need to take away from them, though. That one does matter. Looks like they're going to try to cord anyway. That doesn't shuffle. Oh, no, it does, because they can search. They still search, it's just the Grafdiggers prevents it from entering from the library, so they get to keep the card, and they get to move the top card. You may cord. We went cord for 1. I'm not sure what they would look for that's a cord for 1, unless they run multiple Haywire Mites, or maybe they just forgot that the Haywire Mite's gone. Okay. the stuffed cord was enough for them to give up. Awesome. So what are we bringing in here? I think we bring in these 3 cards. Those are non-negotiable. I'm a little curious about 1 Toxic Deluge. I forget how I boarded last time. I'm wondering about Stonebrain as well. And the Extirpates. Extirpate might be important because I don't have any way of directly removing things from their graveyard. And when they have Agatha's Soul Cauldron, that's a big deal. So I might just keep those. Welding Jar is good for Boseiju, so I think that stays in. I need all the needles I can run. So I think, what are the worst cards? I think Baubles are the worst cards. Those need to come out. Collective Brutality is probably not great here either. It's a okay removal spell, but it's only going to be hitting Mana Dorks. It can't hit Yawgmoth, and the only card that it would take out of their library early, or out of their hand early, is Chord of Calling. And the 1 of Force of Vigor that they might be running. I don't think that's enough hits to justify it. Then lastly, I think I'd take out the Cookbook. There's some decks that run 1 copy of Sheoldred, but that's pretty rare. And we do have the Fatal Push that can hit that. We just have to work for it. I think I like this. The Welding Jar is nice too, because if the opponent has multiple things that they want to blow up on the table, then Welding Jar just covers the bases for all of them. I don't have to navigate the board state. This hand is bad. You discard 5 lands. We're gonna mill that. This hand is bad for different reasons. What would I be doing with this hand? This would be turn 1 Urza Saga, play Lantern, and then we are fighting for mana for the rest of the game. I will say, Extirpate and Grafdigger's Cage in the starting hand is pretty damn good. And if we spike a land on the top card here, like we have to show, or like we get 2 looks at a land, and then we get a 3rd card to draw if we, or we can go 3 cards deep for a land drop on turn 2. If I'm willing to crack the first Lantern, which I am. But if we whiff the following land drop, if we don't hit 3 lands by turn 3, the Saga sacrifices, and then I need a 4th land to even cast Bridge. The alternative is that I go to 5 cards, which against Yawgmoth means that I'm going to be playing pretty big Whack-A-Mole. But I'm already going to be playing Whack-A-Mole with this hand. Odds are it's not going to curve out the way I think it's going to. This hand is awesome. Why didn't they give me this earlier? I think Cage needs to stay. Needle is important. Thoughtseize is going to help a ton, because I can answer the Soul Cauldrons proactively that way, or the Rumbles in their hand. I want to keep all of these. This is a rough 5 to decide with. I think I'd have to bottom one of the artifacts to keep Whir, which means that Whir can only really tutor for 1. It's not going to find a bridge. So I think that goes away first. And if I don't have a bridge, then I probably just keep 2 mana. Yeah, that was a rough sequence of hand keep attempts. Normally, Lantern mulligans pretty well. Like, you can go to 5 and you're, like, it's not great, but, like, you don't really care too much. But against Yawgmoth, you need all the stuff you can get. So opponent went turn 1 Surveil, which is pretty slow. I'm gonna get to look at their hand. Wow, their hand is fire. So they have Rumble and Soul Cauldron, and Surgical. Surgical's an interesting pick. I think I need to take the Cauldron, because the Needle right now looks like it's going to need to name Yawgmoth. They are light on mana, but their deck produces a lot of mana, so I'm not surprised if they just get there anyway. So yeah, I'll just take the Soul Cauldron. I'm not going to try and land screw the Yawgmoth player. That sounds like a dangerous game. Okay, they go Rumble. Force of Vigor, Cauldrons, Cord. So they get an Agatha Soul Cauldron or a Verdant Catacombs. They keep the Soul Cauldron. Ooh, aggressive. They tried to take my Inquisition. Well, I got Thoughtseize, bucko. That's an aggressive play. That's wild. I don't know how to describe that. I don't know if that's good or bad. That could be good. I respect the balls that it takes to just aggressively surgical a discard spell. That's pretty funny. Could you imagine if that works too? It's like campfire story level right there. Okay, well, Thoughtseize is going to have to fire off to answer the Soul Cauldron. Well, they found Boseiju? That was their natural draw. No way. Absolutely brutal. So I think I'm going to run out the cage first. So Dark Slick, cage. We're going to try and make them fire off the Boseiju. Because their Yawgmoth right now doesn't do a whole lot. They don't have anything to sacrifice to it yet. And I need to find some way to interact with that Boseiju. Damn, they topped the land, so they're just going to keep Boseiju in hand now. Uh-huh. Yep. Yogg is on the table. So now any creatures that they have, draw them lots of cards. I'm up to speed. I might just run the needle out into removal because the cage stops their reliable loops, but the needle shuts off Yawgmoth. So that's 2 angles of attack that they need to shut off for the Boseiju, or for the Yawgmoth combo to start working properly. I don't have to commit right now. I could Candy Trail and see what's up. Push doesn't do anything because they have 2 Yawgmoths, and I don't need more than 3 lands. Yeah, I'll just run the needle on... I could run the needle on Boseiju. But that doesn't really answer the long-term issue. Yeah, I know they have one more Boseiju in the deck, but I think I still name Yawgmoth, and they're just going to fire the Boseiju off next turn on something anyways. Doesn't really matter. Okay, they find Wall of Roots. There's the Boseiju. Okay. Grab a Watery Grave. Oh, I should have grabbed an island, because I can draw a card off the Candy Trail. Okay, I'll shock this in. That was a mistake. It's interesting that they held up black mana here and just immediately put a counter on the Wall of Roots. I'm not really sure what's up with that. Extirpate is interesting. Okay. Another needle is awesome. Okay. What do I extirpate out of their deck? They're going to try and crack their Yawg in response. Okay. So they drew a card. Well, that's another problem card that they run. They have one more Soul Cauldron, so I'm not super worried about that. I have a cage, so the cords don't do anything. I guess Malevolent Rumble digs them pretty far. That's the only other problem card that I see in their graveyard right now. They have one more Boseiju, which scares me. But the odds that they draw that are pretty low. I think I take the Rumble. Oh, well, if I'm taking the Rumble, I should have done that on their draw step. That's a mistake, because that's a sorcery. They drew a land. Okay. Whale. Yawgmoth, random position. So they do have Grist. Grist would be annoying. They have one more Boseiju in the deck. They have 1 Shifting Woodlands, 1 Haywire Might. They have an Abrupt Decay. That's a card that matters too. It's a lot of one-ofs. So I guess Extirpate wouldn't have done a whole lot in this situation. So I'm looking for like Urza Saga, Lantern cards, Bridge. I guess Cage works too. Redundancy doesn't hurt too bad, but like this damage will start adding up pretty quickly. I think they run 2 Surveil lands. Yeah, they do. Okay. Well, it's our opponent's turn to start spending time staring at their clock. Or staring at their cards and eating their clock. Oh, they find Shifting Woodland. Okay. That can kind of function as a Soul Cauldron. They have to pump a lot of mana into it every turn. But if they're not doing anything else, that's something they can do. Because, like, the object stays the same, if I'm not mistaken, when you copy again. So the cards stay exiled under the Shifting Woodland, right? I guess we'll find out. That's what they're doing. That's a fun rules interaction. Oh, I need to be really careful about them putting a Yawg in the graveyard. That frees their needle. It's so funny. Okay, there's Bridge. So that's something. But we're not policing their draw step at all, and we're not drawing extra cards per turn. So this is still not a great position to be in. All they have to do is just play Yawgmoth, which I think is correct. I think they can just do that and not be worried about me blowing it up. Like, even pretending like I don't know what my own deck list is. Like, obviously I know what my deck list is, and I can tell them what the correct play is, but no, they're not going to do that. Okay. Okay, Pixis starts to get us somewhere. Now we just need a Lantern, and we can start doing something about their draw step here. Oh, they found their extra Boseiju. Yikes. That's bad. Damn, they hit their interaction, huh? Okay, now we're in the business of, like, where's my Whirs? Let's find a Whir. Whir on Curse Totem would be amazing. That would be, like, the best thing. Or just Curse Totem, you know, I'm not picky. I'll take the Curse Totem, too. And it's 4 cards in our 43 card deck. And Basic Swamp says, I got you, fam. You called my name? No, we did not call your name. We called several names. Your name was not on the list. I'm sorry, Basic Swamp. I didn't mean to do that to you like that. I put you in the deck for a reason. You have your place. You are useful. Oh, there's the Might. Oh, no. That goes on Bridge. Okay. We're back in Pain Town. I'm not sure why they kept their mana up. They probably could have just done another Shifting Woodlands copy and then got that Haywire Might moving. I should probably be exiling cards with the Pixis, too. I'm skipping past that. I shouldn't be doing that anymore. I really don't want to Thoughtseize away their extra Yogg, so I'm just going to target myself with this Thoughtseize. Oh, wait, I don't need to cast the Thoughtseize yet, and I have 6 mana, so I'm just going to pass. I don't have a discard outlet in the deck because I discarded, or I took out all my Collective Brutalities in my cookbook, but until they have a 1-power creature, I have no reason to Thoughtseize them. Oh, wait, I don't have Bridge anyway. It doesn't fucking matter. Okay, I think our deck just stalled out. Looks like they're finally starting to find some stuff here. This is getting increasingly dire. Okay, end step Pixis. Should have done that earlier. It's another land. Uh-huh. Yeah. That's a problem. We are not drawing well. They can also start eating things with the Yawgmoth post-combat. So I'll be at 2. And I'm sure they can dig enough to, like, find a Bowmasters, 2 Bowmasters, you know, something like that. They'll get there. It's just a matter of time. Grist ult is looming as well, and they have they have 2 creatures in the graveyard. Ah, Fulminator Mage, sure. Why not? Let's run Fulminator out. Thankfully, I have mana covered, so that's not going to do a whole lot other than be a 2/2 creature, which is relevant. I will Thoughtseize myself to send a message. Okay, there we go. Let's go to game 3. I think I played that one okay. I guess we'll see in post-commentary. If you see me jump in right here, then I have thoughts on better plays I could have made, but I think that was just our deck chaining together a bajillion D-lands and saying, yeah, I don't feel like you should win the game today. Beep beep. It is I, from the editor's booth. To comment on Match 2 Game 2, I don't really think I made any mistakes. I think I just had a rough mold of 5, and the 5 that I did keep was pretty serviceable. It was a good 5, but we had to make some tough decisions on the mulligan, and our opponent had way too many threats that we had to answer over several turns, and they just drew hot. I can't really do anything about that, right? Sometimes you just lose games. That's how it works. Wouldn't be a fair game if I could win all of them. So, do comment if you see anything, though. I am but one little snake dude with a red hat in this internet void, so I'm sure I missed something. Call it if you see it. How do I feel about our current deck list right now? Maybe the Stonebrains come in. Or maybe the Stonebrain, the singular Stonebrain comes in. Oh, we did mold a 5 that game too. I shouldn't beat myself up too hard there. I'm over here thinking that I did a terrible job when in reality, like, Shuffler's broke. I think I'd take out a Candy Trail here. We'll put in the Stonebrain, get rid of a Candy Trail, wax Submit. This has a hate piece. It has a turn 1 Thoughtseize, even if it's painful. Actually, they don't run a lot of discard, right? Let me check their deck. They have 3 Thoughtseizes. Because they casted 1 and I see 2. And oh, here's the deck, by the way. My lovely MS Paint. I can crop it. There you go. Lovely detail. So yeah, there's 2 Thoughtseizes right here, and they casted 1 at the start of the game. I'm keeping this. I just need to figure out the sequence here. I think I like turn 1 Thoughtseize the best. Because if they have another Thoughtseize, then that's going to be an issue. I don't care about Surgical. What a wild hand for them to keep here. No interaction, except for Abrupt Decay and Surgical. I guess, you know what? If I slam a bridge, that is a turn to get rid of all your bridges. That was 7, right? Okay. I'm going to deploy Lantern cards. Okay, I don't like my top cards, so I'm going to run out Pixis. Because if I need to get rid of one of my opponent's top cards, I would rather, you know, do that and get rid of this Inquisition here. Okay, opponent surveils. I guess Young Wolf doesn't really do a whole lot, yeah. They find another land, though. They definitely didn't want that. Okay, they run out Blood Artist. That's fine. I will need to answer that eventually, but I have Fatal Pushes for that. You know, I might just keep the Inquisition here and then just double down on the Mill Rocks because they don't have a damage clock right now. I'll just make them take my Thoughtseize with the Surgical if they want to. Yeah, they don't care. Oh, they drew a Grist. Ooh. Never mind, I'm taking that Grist instead. Wait, Grist, Surgical, Shifting Woodland, Twilight Mire, Swamp. So these... like that. Yeah, I take Grist. Ooh, dodged a bullet there. I forgot they drew a card off the... or on turn 1. That matters. Okay, Shifting Woodland is relevant as well. They cannot copy the Grist. It will die immediately. So that's good. I think I'm in the business of looking for a land instead of continuing to discard. My deck has other ideas. Do I really want this Thoughtseize? Not really. It gets rid of the Surgical, I guess. Whatever. Needle's good. It's also not a land, but, you know, it's something. What do I even needle here? Do I just needle the Shifting Woodland? Okay, they're going to make me shuffle. That's fine. Inquisition has been named a Surgical 2 games in a row. That has got to feel bad. Yep, those are our cards. And I have a Cage. Ta-da! There's the 3rd land that we really needed. Do I even slam Bridge here, or do I just keep, like, policing their top card of the library? I think I still were for Bridge. Like, Shifting Woodland is still going to start being all weaselly and stuff, but right now it can only really copy creatures. Yeah, it's going to die. Good idea, but that's going to die. That is the 2nd time I've had a Yogg player do that. That's how I learned. It was the first time that somebody did that. That was a good try, though. I think my opponent just kept a bad hand, honestly. I like the idea, but like I run 7 discard spells, and they saw that I run 2 different types of discard last game. Yeah, okay, GG. What a way to flame out. I don't mean to bash on my opponent too hard. I apologize. That's good games, dude. Beep beep. From the editor's booth here. The interaction that my opponent did with Shifting Woodlands and Grist seems a little bit obvious why it doesn't work in isolation, but I want to kind of go over a similar line that they have with a couple different cards as well that does work and is a scary value engine if you're not careful, and some people may not have seen this out of Yawgmoth before. So I just want to cover this really quick. Or it's going to take like 2 or 3 minutes. If you want to skip it, then match 3's timestamp is going to be right after this. You could just skip to that. But for those who want to learn, or don't know a whole lot about Yawgmoth, I'm just going to cover this really quick. This is just a board state that I whipped up on Cockatrice. We're going to pretend that I'm the Yawgmoth player here and that this red area is my graveyard, okay? These bottom 3 cards aren't going to matter. They're just so that Shifting Woodlands has Delirium. We're just going to, just for completeness sake, I put them in here. Now, if Shifting Woodlands is going to copy Grist, it copies all of the typing, all the text, its name, its mana value, its mana cost, things like that, right? Now, because it's copying the typing, it becomes a Planeswalker. This is a problem because Shifting Woodlands has 0 loyalty. That means that state-based actions are going to get checked once this ability resolves, and Shifting Woodlands is going to immediately go to the graveyard because it's a Planeswalker with 0 loyalty. It's kind of like how creatures with 0 toughness or with lethal damage marked on it are going to go to the graveyard as well. That is just how the rules for Planeswalkers are. However, in a similar example, if my opponent has a graveyard exactly the same way, but they also have an Agatha's Soul Cauldron here on the table. If Agatha's Soul Cauldron eats the Grist, Grist is considered a 1/1 insect outside of the battlefield, right? As well as all of the other text on the card. It also has a power and toughness 1/1 and is a creature with type insect, okay? It's still a planeswalker, but it has all that text on it. That means that the Soul Cauldron can transfer activated abilities somewhere else. So if I put a counter on this Delighted Halfling with the Exile clause, right? Then this Delighted Halfling gains all of the activated abilities of this Grist. So it can use all the loyalty abilities as long as you can pay the cost. So for example, even though this has 0 counters on it, I can +1 loyalty on the halfling to mill a card and make an insect. You can see this becoming a problem very quickly if your opponent has 2 or 3 creatures with 1/1 counters on them, and they're all spamming a bunch of insects and filling up the graveyard very quickly. Now, the reason why the halfling stays alive, though, is because it only copies the activated abilities. Its typing remains exactly the same. It does not become a planeswalker, it doesn't become an insect or anything like that, but the important text is that it's not a planeswalker, so it doesn't have the same state-based actions that it cares about with having 0 loyalty on it. So you get this really weird circumstance where creatures start getting loyalty abilities, but they don't die because they're not planeswalkers, and you've got a bunch of weird counters that you have to track all over the place, but that's just how the rules work. And this is a big headache to deal with. I've had to deal with it exactly once. It may have been in a video before, but I can't remember, to be honest. It's scary. But this is probably what my opponent was thinking when they tried to copy Grist with the Shifting Woodlands, is that the interaction worked in some similar way. And they just didn't see that, you know, it becomes a planeswalker, so it dies. That's all. Let's go to match 3. Okay, I am in high spirits. I'm going to have to keep my voice down a little bit, so, you know, keep me in check. It's currently 11:30 p.m. here, which is, you know, not crazy late, but late enough where people are going to sleep. It's a Thursday when I'm recording this, so people still need to go to work tomorrow. So keep me in check. If you see any misplays throughout this series, please comment. Please correct me. I love seeing your guys' comments and feedback, and even if it means that you're nitpicking me to death, that's still important. I like the intellectual engagement. Okay, match 3 on the draw, and we have a double bridge hand. Interesting. 2 bridges and a Thoughtseize, like, they are not killing our bridges, as long as one of them resolves. I'll keep it. We're gonna struggle controlling their top card, but that's okay. They keep 6. Eldrazi Temple, pass. Okay. That doesn't really give me a lot of info on what they're working with here. I'm gonna run out. I can actually go turn 1 Welding Jar, Glimmer Void, and Thoughtseize. Look at that. That's so cool. I'm so cool. Oh, it's Eldrazi Goryo's. Oh, that's cool. Well, thankfully the cage stops that, so I'm not gonna worry about Goryo's. This is gonna be a wild game, though. That's a really cool build of Eldrazi. I think I've seen 1 or 2 deck lists like this. So they run like the cookbook and stuff too, I think. They're just going like full gas pedal. Okay, they go Saga. So they might run Needle in their Saga plan. I'm not really sure what's gonna be in their wheelhouse. It's probably just cookbook. Okay, they're gonna Kozilek's for 1. Sure. I could be mean and Fatal Push the spawn token. It's not like the Fatal Push is gonna do anything this turn, or this game. Okay, we'll run out the Delta. I think I just go Cage Needle, and then Needle the Urza Saga. Yeah. Find an island, because I don't want them making constructs. That Grapdigger's Cage game 1 has got to be infuriating. We already pissed off 1 player this league doing that. Come on, swing at me. You know you want to. Aw, that's boring. We do need a land, though. Pixis is not a land. I will just fire this off at the spawn, just to get rid of it. It's not like we're doing anything else with the Fatal Push this game, I don't think. Like, they're not even running Myco spawns, like, they're not in the right colors. They might have, like, line breakers, maybe, but I don't think that's what their deck is about. There's the book. I will start aggressively using Pixis. Cool. There's our Urza Saga. There's a bridge. And that's enough for our opponent. Cool. They know what's up. I'm gonna ask my opponent about their deck. I want to know how they've done with it. It seems fun. I think I will take the Stone Brain. I don't think I put in Extirpate. Or maybe I do. They're pretty combo-centric. Oh, opponent doesn't like the deck list. Yeah, they're claiming it's a Glass Cannon. I that makes sense to me. When your Goryo's target tries to shuffle itself away immediately, I can see that being a struggle. They're probably a breach list as well. That's something that I forgot to mention that we need to pay attention to. So the cookbook comes out, the cage comes in, and we keep the current one in there. All right, opponent's friendly enough. I appreciate it, opponent. I don't know if Set Adrift comes in the deck. They might run like Trinosphere. I don't know what they're running. But I think taking out the pushes, the brutalities are going to be good for Goryo's and through the breach. Holy interaction. I think we keep this. We're close to Grafdigger's Cage as well off the Whir of Invention, so like we just have it all in this hand, except for the Lantern Lock itself. But we're well on our way. Okay, they played Sulphur Springs, so Kozilek's Command doesn't do anything next turn. I have a lot of interaction. I could probably just take... Hold on, how does this work on curve? So turn 1, I take Kozilek's Command. Turn 2, I Brutality, take another Kozilek's Command. They won't have enough mana for Through the Breach. Yeah, so I'll just keep going. I'll just go down the pecking order. We'll just max out our discard. They probably have some discard, but not a lot. I don't think I've ever seen the Black-Red Talisman before that looks metal as fuck. That's great. Okay. I think I still run out the Saga. Even though I kind of want to turn 3 Whir. I don't have any artifacts, so it doesn't matter. Okay, they have an Emrakul. I will take another Kozilek's Command. Because they can't even draw Ugin's Lab out of this. And Through the Breach something on the table. Oh, they run green. Okay, that's important to know. I could also just slam a bridge. Like, they can't breach and do the bridge thing in the same turn. Yeah. I'll just Thoughtseize next turn. If I even need to, I don't know. Okay, they have the One Ring. I should have suspected that. They are an Eldrazi deck, after all. I don't know why that wasn't even on my radar, but that's fine, because we have the Saga. So we'll run out Pithing Needle on the One Ring. I cannot Thoughtseize them this turn. Okay, we'll tap this for blue. 1, 2, 3. We'll go Whir on 1. We'll go find a Lantern right now. We're drawing an Emrakul, that's fine. They did draw one card that I don't know about, so I might have actually just punted here. If they drew interaction right on that one card. They drew Thought Knot, okay. They probably take the Whir, okay, yeah. So that slows me down. I really don't want that Inquisition. I will take the... To be honest, I kind of just want to take their Emrakul, like the 15 mana one. Just force a shuffle. Oh, they found their interaction. Alright, dude was chill. He said, are you interested in playing this? If not, I will concede. He was very much not vibing with his deck list. Okay. So, poor guy. Let's go to match 4. Okay, match 4, we're on the draw. That one popped quickly. Looks like opponent's going to give us a 30-second head start. It's nice of them. Alright, this is, if I didn't tell you this was Whir, you wouldn't know it's Whir. But I like it. It has a good plan. Doesn't have bridge, but we're getting there. We even have a cookbook if we get stuck on blue mana and we need to pitch the Whir. Okay, Windswept Heath Pass makes me very concerned. Windswept Heath Pass probably means that this is an Omnath pile. Or it's Jeskai. But Jeskai would probably prioritize blue fetches over white or green fetches. It could be Goryo's. The Meticulous Archive, I'm not sure. But yeah, I'm very worried right now. Find Hedge Maze. Could be Living End as well. No, Counterspell's not Living End. Yeah, this is probably an Omnath pile. Well, Hall of Storm Giants. Whoa. Interesting. I really want to Collective Brutality them this turn. And see what the hell is going on over there. I also kind of want to bait out some of their counterspells and get this Shredder resolved so that I can start policing their top card. Yep, counterspell, that's fine. They're still drawing lands. I hope that's not a good sign for them. Snow-covered plains. They're rocking it. Yeah, there's the Teferi. So it's like some Omnath pile. It might not be Omnath itself, but it's the same gist. The same general idea. There's a Teferi. They have another Teferi on top. I'd love to see that. So I'm gonna lead on Inquisition, try and bait out their counter spells. Oh, it's Scepter! Oh, that's cool. There's a Gifts Ungiven in their deck, too. I really wish I could take the Gifts Ungiven. That'd be the much better thing to take here. Okay, we'll run out Needle. We'll name the Fairy Time Raveler. We have another Codex Shredder on top of the library, so they can sneak through with this Gifts Ungiven. I might just be on the Saga plan for the next turn or two, to be honest. Yeah, I think I'm on the Saga plan, actually. I want them to interact with me. They probably Gifts this turn. But if I'm representing blue mana, they might be nervous. No, they just fire off Gifts. Okay, let's do it. What's your pile? I will give you counter spells. You can have counter spells. I will not give you... I don't really know what you... Like, Orum's Chant? They can have Orum's Chant. I don't care about those. I'm not sure what they grab here. They don't seem so sure either, because they're taking their time. I don't envy their position right now. This would be a really weird one to choose. Okay, Get Lost. Savine's Reclamation is Reanimation, right? That's cool. That probably means that I just grab, or put this in the graveyard and use Grafdigger's Cage on it. Yeah, I don't care about Orum's Chant Get Lost here, so I'll just take the... Well, they can have the Snap, actually. So I can take Get Lost, Savine's Reclamation. Snap gets turned off if I go fetch the Grafdigger's Cage, and Savine's Reclamation will also get shut off. Although they could just fire it off next turn as well. Well, you know what? What are they going to grab from their... It's just target permanent. Actually, I think I'm fine with them having Savine's Reclamation. I can Urza's Saga, tutor a Needle, and target Iso Scepter, and that's really what they're trying to reanimate. So I can take the Snap and the Get Lost here. And then they like fog me for one turn, and that's all they get to do. I think I like that. So they kept... Or I got rid of Get Lost, and I got rid of Snap. I like playing against Gifts Ungiven. It's like such a brain melter. It goes Savine's on Snap. What is Snap gonna find? This is for, okay, it's for Get Lost. And they're gonna cast Get Lost and try and kill the Saga. Oh, they're waiting for me to... They got me. I needed to fetch. Well, you know what? I'm just gonna wait. Yeah, okay. I was gonna say, I could actually just let this keep ticking, and then I might actually get my tutor off of this. And they just realized that too. So, I get some maps too. I don't think I've had any maps as a Lantern player before. Oh, this thing is big now. That's really cool. Alrighty. So Savine's Reclamation's in the graveyard. That's fine, I don't care about that. We're gonna go Saga, Shredder, Shredder, Cookbook, Mishra's Bauble. Oh, that felt like an 8-cast turn right there. That was crazy. Okay, game two. What are we doing here? I think Set Adrift is a good option. That resets their Isochron Scepter, even if they get to draw it again. The Consign is an interesting consideration, although I don't think they have a ton of ETBs that I really care about. This would just be for Isochron Scepter itself. I don't think I care about that too much. Oh, funny enough, I can counter the, what's it called? The ETB, the Imprint. Because that's a triggered ability. And they just have a awkward Isochron Scepter sitting on the table the whole time. So what's scary in their deck? They have Counterspell. Counterspell is scary. Orum's Chant doesn't matter because they mill them out, or I mill them out over time. So combat damage is just kind of like a secondary thing that happens. Extirpate seems interesting for counterspells. They don't seem super inclined on winning the game with combat damage, but I'm sure that's where they get to eventually. They might run Wrath of the Skies, at least in the board. I think the Cookbook comes out. The Cage should stay in, but I don't think I need to board in a second one. Well, they do have Gifts piles. Cage shuts off Snap, and it shuts off Savine's Reclamation. Yeah, I think I bring this in too. Maybe I take out the Welding Jar and the Baubles. Or no, I take out Fatal Pushes. Those are more important to take out. We'll try it like this. Maybe I should have left in the Welding Jar instead of one of the Baubles. That's okay though. This looks somewhat similar to last game, except I don't have discard. I like it, though. What are they running green for? Do they run, like, Malevolent Rumble? That doesn't seem right. No, they need instants for the Scepter. Okay, well, opponent surveils turn 1. I think I'm interested in just slamming a Lantern on turn 1, but I do kind of want the Shredder to resolve. I could do Bobble Shredder. That's fine. I'm not going to be policing their top card too hard, I don't think. I'll just go Shredder Bobble. We'll let them have one extra draw step, and then if they hold up Counterspell, they'll probably try and counter the Lantern, and I'll just have a second one. Okay, they just go fetch land, pass. Set Adrift is interesting. I don't have any interaction in hand, so I might keep that. Yeah, I'm going to keep it. We'll start with the Lantern. Okay, I'm going to fetch an island with this Polluted Delta. Cool, we have a land on tap. That's good. In that case, I might just run out a second Lantern instead of the Candy Trail. Yeah. If they play Wrath next turn and I get blown out, I'm going to be a little embarrassed, but I think we're okay. I shouldn't auto-pass. They're a blue deck. And I don't know what they're playing right now. Notably, they didn't fetch on their end step, so they probably liked the card that they drew. The Hall of the Storm Giants. Is this a Wrath? Did I get blown out? Oh, temporary lockdown. Okay. This is going to be a little weird. I'm going to make a Miller Force. Get Lost is cool. Okay, they get to steal my artifacts for a little while. This Glimmer Void gets a lot worse. You know, weirdly enough, I can Whir for 1 this turn. No, I can't. I have to Whir for 0. But I can Candy Trail. Let me see if this resolves. I'm not really in the business of either of these cards right now. I kind of want Thoughtseize. I think I just run out Glimmer Void and pass. So the Set Adrift will answer that temporary lockdown eventually. Oh, they're going to bounce my Candy Trail and I lose my Glimmer Void. That's rude. Oh, never mind. They're just going to plus. Never. Just kidding. I think I extirpate the Force of Negation just so that I can guarantee that I Whir next turn or Set Adrift next turn. Oh, I can't because the Teferi resolved. Oops. Oh, well, there's a Thoughtseize. That's good. Well, I'm gonna... What am I doing this turn? I think I'm gonna extirpate anyway. No. I'm just gonna Thoughtseize first. I can get rid of the Scepter forever. That's probably better than a Gifts Pile. And I have to do this main phase. Because of Teferi. Oh, they took out most of them, huh? So they have 2 Tidebinders, they have 1 Savines. So they're just a control deck right now. Cosmic Rebirth. They have 2 more Force of Negations. They have a Disruptor Flute. That's good to know. 1 Surgical, 1 Noxious Revival is an odd one. Yeah, okay. Okay, there we go. There's the bounce I was expecting. Okay, they have 5 mana. So they can't stop this Set Adrift unless they top decked a counterspell. I think I fire this off right now. Just eat my whole graveyard. And then I don't think Gifts Ungiven works, because I never have to take the Force of Negation that they would tutor with it. And I don't think they had any other 1-mana counterspells. Oh, did I never? Oh no, I did. I did copy-paste that. That's good. Okay, I will also run out a Needle. That'll go on Teferi. Okay, they drew a Consign. Okay, so Teferi's still hanging around. Interesting. What does this do? That cannot find a temp lockdown. Okay, well, I'm passing the turn here. On upkeep, I'll make them mill. Do they have another temp? They do have another temp lockdown, so them shuffling this in doesn't change the gifts pile. I do like how you can see that they're selecting their top card, though. That's kind of funny. So Savine's Reclamation is probably going back in. That just occurred to me. That's not good. Uh-oh. It's actually really bad. So next game, I need to board in my removal for enchantments. Yeah, there's all their bounce stuff. I can at least make them tap out and use the Savine's Rec on that temporary lockdown. Oh, well, they also just drew the lockdown. Never mind. Oh, wait, they don't have one in the graveyard. Never mind. I forgot. I put it on top of their library and they just shuffled it back in with gifts. Oh, wait, duh, but I send things to the graveyard. Never mind. I'm back to square one. I understand now. What does this do again? Choose target permanent if it has many value 3 or less. Put it on the battlefield. Okay. Do I have a right choice here? I don't think I have a right choice here. I think it's just Cosmic Rebirth lockdown. They have to spend their whole turn doing Savine's Reclamation to get it back. Damn. Damn. That means I keep Counterspell too, though. So maybe I just take Counterspell Cosmic or something. You know, I'm thinking my Thoughtseize, I took the wrong card now. Could have taken that Gifts. Wait, I didn't have a Thoughtseize. What am I talking about? Did I have a Thoughtseize? No, I did have a Thoughtseize. Yeah, I took the wrong card. I'm thinking too much. I'm already behind on time. I need to just pick something. Well, I'm drawing another Codex Shredder. That builds me to where I need to go. So I think I just bin the Counterspell and the Savine's Reclamation. No, and the Temp Lockdown. We'll make them cast some. It's one of the other things out of their hand. They're drawing an island. That's fine. So they don't have Temp. They don't have Counterspell. Oh, they pass. That's weird. Oh, Cosmic Rebirth is an instant. That's why. I see. Fair, well played, opponent. I'm not going to play anything this turn. Oh, they can also just do Savine at instant speed. You cannot have a Force Negation. You cannot have a Waterlogged Teachings. Preordain, I guess, is as good as we're going to get. Well, I'm not assuming this Temp Lockdown ever goes away, right? Oh, I have Otawara, so yeah, never mind. They can have the Preordain. I'm cool with that. Okay, drew the land. We'll go Candy Trail. Let's do some scrying. Collective Brutality is going to be important to get through their stuff. I'm going to run out Shredder. That Gifts is gone. I think next game, I'm going to try and board in the Power Conduit. It doesn't look like they're run Wrath of the Skies. They're running Temp Lockdown instead. Okay, Savine's is just gone. Okay. So Hall of the Storm Giants is going to get a little scary, though. I definitely need to keep that in mind. So I know they have Get Lost and Cosmic Rebirth. I don't know what the other two cards are. If I draw a land or I draw a 0-drop, I can Whir out a bridge next turn. Oh, wait, I knew what I was drawing. Just kidding. That's kind of cute. They're going to do the Temp Lockdown here. I think they drew an Otawara. That bounces the bridge, huh? I'm going to mill myself. Whir doesn't really do anything anymore now. I'm just looking for bridge. Doesn't really look like they have any way to answer bridge, do they? Once it's resolved, like they can bounce it with Teferi and that's it. So if I'm able to extirpate Teferi, then bridge just wins me the game. That's good to know. They're really hanging on this mill trigger. That's a needle. I don't want a needle. It's a land. We'll take it. That's fine. They draw a Snapcaster, which is going to be a counterspell. I think we're just going to concede. I think I get the gist. Let's try to not run out of the time in game 3. Beep beep. I'm back. You missed me? I know I'm doing a lot of analysis today, but there were a lot of cool games that I want to talk about. So I'm going to spend another couple minutes talking about some of the several mistakes that I made between turns 3 and 4. They are what lost me into this game. I'm pretty sure that the game would have been fairly competitive, and I feel like I was actually favored to win if I just did these few things differently. So, for starters, this is the one that I think was hardest to see. My opponent is on turn 3. They've just played a land and cast Temporary Lockdown. I have just drawn a Set Adrift on my previous turn. That is pretty much my only answer to a Temporary Lockdown. The only other way that I can really get rid of the Temp Lockdown is Feed the Swarm, which I didn't board in, or Consign to Memory on the ETB trigger, which I didn't board in either games 2 or 3, I don't think. I have 2 cards in graveyard right now, and I'm about to draw a 3rd land. Set Adrift costs 6 with Delve, right? Or has 3 mana and 2 cards in graveyard, that's 5. That's not enough. However, I have 3 permanents that are able to put cards in graveyard one way or another. I can either Shredder myself, which is risky because I don't know if I'm going to have another land on top, and that wouldn't generate an extra mana for Set Adrift. However, I can also crack lanterns and make target players shuffle. In this case, I'm a little bit worried about my opponent having a Force of Negation because I'm going to need to resolve a Whir of Invention at some point. So I want to get rid of their top card, which I do with this Codex Shredder right here. So I could have just made them shuffle instead of milling them, and I would have gotten that extra card in graveyard. Temp Lockdown would resolve, and then I can untap next turn, play my Glimmer Void, tap out completely for Set Adrift. And then I get all my stuff back. And then I can make them mill with the Codex Shredder. I would also know what their top card is before I do all of this. So I would know the card below that temporary lockdown when it goes back to the top of their library still. So I'll know if that's a big threat or whatever, and I'll still have a lantern that I could emergency pop if need be. So that was the first mistake. That's the reason why I wanted to interject here. Everything else is a little bit more obvious, I think. Let me go skip to something else. So this is my opponent's turn 4. I just went Candy Trail Glimmer Void because I didn't really have anything to do. But I wanted to extirpate their Force of Negation. If that was something I wanted to do, obviously I wanted to do it before the Teferi resolved. I think at this point it's fine. I just kind of want to get cards in graveyard and reduce the amount of resources that they have in hand. Extirpate would have been great here. I just didn't do it. In turn 4, I draw a Thoughtseize, which is a good pick as well. That nice interaction for my opponent. I should cast that, which I do. Unfortunately, I take the wrong card here. I should take the Gifts Ungiven. If your opponent is running Gifts Ungiven, it means that they have ways to break Gifts Ungiven, and you're never really going to have good choices as long as your opponent is playing correctly. Isochron Scepter, I can always Pithing Needle. Gifts Ungiven grabs a lot of weird graveyard recursion stuff that is hard to answer even with things like Grafdigger's Cage. I'm always giving them some value of some kind. So I need to take the gifts here. And instead, I take the Isochron Scepter, and then I'm going to save this Extirpate and use it on the Isochron Scepter, which is the wrong half of the deck to be attacking. Between all those plays combined, I think that's what sent this game into a death spiral. I should note as well that the next game doesn't get any better with misplays. There's more, but they're more immediately apparent, and I either call them out or you can discover them pretty quickly for yourself. It's a funny game, though, so stay tuned. Yeah, back to video. Power Conduit we can try and put in the deck. Yeah, I'm kicking myself over not taking gifts in that hand. Never underestimate the power of Gifts Ungiven. I think I'd take out a Mishra's Bauble and call it good. Well, actually, I can see their whole deck. Hold on. This is the whole deck. Is there anything that I want to board in Consigned to Memory for? Technically, the Tidebinder, it would have text. Looks like they boarded out their scepters. So maybe the needles aren't as good. The answer's Flute. It's not really where I want to be, though. Oh, we want the Feed the Swarm. I'll take out a needle for the Feed the Swarm. That's right. That was the card I wanted. I couldn't remember. I was like, I need more than this. I can't remember what it is, though. Okay, this has no hand interaction. So Temp Lockdown hurts a lot. But we're on track to Whir very quickly. I think I have to keep the hand. It's a good hand. Let's Candy Trail. Thoughtseize and Saga are both cards I really want to draw next turn. I think I want to draw the Saga more. So I'm just going to stack like that. Plus, then I don't have to fetch next turn with the Saga on top. We'll go Saga. We'll play the Power Conduit. We finally got it resolved. It's pretty dope. Let's see if they let us use it, though, because like if they temp lock down, then I don't get to use it, and that would be sad. I think they're reading Power Conduit right now. That warms my heart, knowing that I'm making people read cards. Oh, they named Flute. Or they cast Flute. On main phase. Do they name Saga or Power Conduit? If they name Power Conduit, that's a victory. Okay, they did not name Power Conduit. That's okay. Okay, we'll play out our land. Let's take a peek. Ooh, there's Teferi. We can Needle Scepter. I'm not worried about that, but the Teferi is very annoying. The Waterlogged Teachings will also eventually get... Actually, Teferi bounces the Saga, so I have to answer that now, or I'm not getting my Saga going. Waterlogged Teachings is definitely something I'm worried about, though. I'll fetch out an island. We'll play our rocks. And they can have a turn. But I have the Lantern locked next turn at least. Yeah, Waterlogged's Teachings can grab gifts, and gifts can grab a pile. Yeah. Oh, or they could just, you know, draw to Teferi. That's fine too. Alright, well, I'll... Oh! Wait, remove a counter from a permanent you control. Oh, I thought I could take their Teferi counter for some reason. Choose target artifact. I will choose the power conduit. It has a charge counter stored on it now, which I can move around, which is pretty funny. I'll go Pixis. Okay, well, we can get rid of the Waterlogged Teachings this turn. Never punished. It's what, these 5? Yeah. 5. Tidebinder's annoying, but the Teachings is far more scary. I think I'm passing. Yeah, I'm passing. Okay, I'll go Pixis end step and pass. Okay, another Saga. Damn, if they didn't have the Disruptor Flute, we'd be putting in some serious work. What, on the first one? Really? Okay. Kind of rude, but sure. Okay, go to end step. I will Pixis. Okay, Saga's gonna tick up. I'll put a counter on this Codex Shredder because it's funny. Please tell me this works. I will be so happy. Oh, we drew another Urza Saga, by the way. Just for fun. They can Tidebinder this. The tutor trigger, which is a little annoying, but that's fine. I think I'm cracking the Candy Trail here. Ooh, Inquisition. Actually, they have Veil of Summer up for Inquisition. That's not going to do anything. But extra Urza Sagas are always good. I won't complain. This has once again become a very strange game. This is a weird league. I'm going to uptick Teferi again, huh? I'm cool with that. I am very worried that they will get to their temporary lockdown very soon, though. I don't really care where these go. There we go. Do I get my tutor? I do get my tutor. All right, we'll grab Needle, name Teferi. Well, I could even bounce the flute at some point, too. That's good to know. Oh, it has flash. That doesn't really matter. Yeah, I'm just playing this as a land, I think. Oh, I can't. Whoops. Can I undo that? No, I can't undo that. Damn it, I need to tap the River of Tears to do that. Okay, there's the gifts. They're just going to find a way to get temp locked down. I'm going to be sad. I don't really have a way to stop that. Well, we got to do the power conduit thing. Worst case scenario, I got my fun power conduit thing. But I'm low-key mad. Just a little. Yep, there's the pile. So actually, do they have another land? They might not have another land. And if they don't have another land, if I bin Cosmic Temp Lockdown, then they might be struggling. Because they need to pay 5 mana for Savine's Wreck. We'll see if that matters. They haven't played a land yet. Could it work? What? How did they pay 3 for that? Oh, because I gave it to them. Doy. I forgot that part. For some reason, I assumed that that went to the bin as well. I don't know what I'm thinking. My brain's not working anymore. Can I do anything? No. I can make tokens. On the plus side. I can make 2 tokens. So it's not over, but it's not looking good. There's an awful lot of things over here. Yeah, I can make constructs again because at least their flute is under the temp lockdown again. So I'm not dead, but I'm not having a good time. I also only have 6 minutes. Not sure why they didn't attack, but okay. Okay, on upkeep, I'm going to do... Actually, hold on. I'm going to set a... Or I'm going to yield until my own draw step. See what I draw. Okay, yeah. Whoops. I guess it doesn't matter. They only have 1 mana up. That was just me wasting time on my clock for no reason. Okay, so we have to get Needle for Teferi. Otherwise, they just bounce the temp lockdown and we do this all over again. Okay, they counter the second trigger. Understood? This taps for blue, right? Yeah, it taps for blue. Damn. Alright. Oh, I have a lantern. Noxious is not good for me. I think I just attack them. Noxious is fine, actually. That puts things on top of their library. I can still manipulate the top of their library. I'm amazed I'm still in this game. I don't know how I got here, but I'm here. They're still drawing lots of cards, which makes me very nervous. But they're still here. Okay, I will play the bubble. I just got my 5-minute warning on the clock here. I think I run out Whir on my main phase. I'll Whir for 1. I know I'm going to draw another Whir, but, you know, it's like... Okay, they're just going to cycle the Veil of Summer because it's pretty clear that I've been either fading that or I don't have anything for that. They might as well get value out of it right now. Okay, they force it. That's fine. Okay, attack everyone at you, opponent. Okay, opponent's at 3. We're still in this. Whew, this is stressful. They have a bunch of unknowns in hand. So we're nowhere close to being out of the woods. Okay, they're going Noxious on the Get Lost. So they're going to try and blow up one of the constructs. I'm going to probably try and preordain and draw that. I think I'm cool with them drawing that, honestly. Yeah, that only buys them 1 turn. Okay, they have a Gifts on top. Gotcha, gotcha. I'm going to crack the Bauble. It's not going to influence their life total any different. They're at 3. So I might as well just draw the extra card. Ooh, that's good too. Okay. I will Inquisition them now. There's the Get Lost. Okay. I will take their Scepter. Because they only have 1 mana up right now. Go blue, 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 and 1. We'll go find a Pixis. Attack the opponent. Okay, they block. Move to end step. They fetch. Wow, okay. Cool. That's a land. So whatever they were going to gift for, they didn't think it was worth it. Tidebinder is just buying them 1 more turn, so I'm happy with that. That's fine. They can buy themselves 1 more turn. Yeah, they're dead. They have a land on top. We got there? No way. I don't care whatever happens for the rest of this league. This is like this game feels so... Oh, it's my priority. Shit. gotta make sure I actually play the game still. This is crazy. Okay, go to combat. Attack them. Yep, you can flash that in. That's fine. And it will block. I will play out this Whir for 1. They're going to counter it. That's fine. Your move, opponent. You may have your land. Oh, they have a Savine's Wreck as well. I forgot that part. So we're not done yet. Okay, I failed. I should have Whirred for Grafdigger's Cage. Oops. Tidebinder's back. Okay, we're not done. Oh, they can get back the Scepter? Oh, they can get back the Scepter. Oh, no. Oh, they got back another Tidebinder. That's fine. I don't want them to have the Consign, I don't think. No, it's Consign's okay. Okay, combat. Oh, if I attack the opponent, then I lose my artifact. Let's see if they're okay with that. Okay. Yeah, I punted the game. I could have grabbed a cage and I would have been done. I got too excited, and now I have 2 minutes to get this done. That's stressful. Okay, let's go find a Codex Shredder or a Saga. Nope. Nope. Oh, I can pop the temp lock down. Can I win in 2 minutes if I do that? They have a flute again. I think I'm still doing it. I have 1.5 minutes left. Oh, fuck, I gotta go so fast. Teferi Time Raveler. Why can't I? Oh, they named Pixis with their flute. I see. Yeah, I think I'm screwed here. Just run this out. Why did they concede? Oh, because they were at 2 life. Oh my god, I wasn't even paying attention. I just won the game on accident. I completely wasn't paying attention. I was literally about to say, I don't know why I'm clicking through all of these steps, because I'm wasting time and I only have 1 minute left. And I didn't even pay attention to their life total. What a roller coaster of a best of 3. I have no words to describe what just happened. Okay, deep breath. Got one more match. Can't go completely off the rails yet. I gotta focus up though. Let's do match 5. Okay, I went downstairs, I got water, I came back up. I'm still giddy. The power conduit did something. It got an extra tutor or 2 out that probably did matter in the grand scheme of things. What a wild best of 3 that was. That had it all. I won with collective brutality. I didn't even realize it until it happened. Oh, deep breaths. Deep breaths. Okay, match 5. We're on the draw. Normally I would say, wow, we were very unlucky, but, you know, we keep winning the games that we're playing, or the matches, so I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna... I will take the draw, and I will like it. I don't like this hand, though. I think we go to 6. There's no lantern pieces. Pithing Needle and Cage aren't gonna win the game by themselves, and we have 4 lands. That's just... nothing is coming together in that one. This one's a different story. It has Fatal Push and Needle, which I guess I'll kind of treat as one good card combined. And we have a Whir plan going. I guess I can give it a shot. Oh, what goes back? I kind of like the idea of just trying to race for bridge. We have 3 1-mana artifacts here. I could just bottom the Fatal Push. I think that one's least consistently useful, especially if we're going for the Whir on bridge. Opponent is thinking on their turn 1 here. They play Volatile Fault. We're playing against Death and Taxes, aren't we? That player may search their library. We're playing against Death and Taxes. Oh, turn 1 Lantern is really... it's gonna help. Is this non-basic? Okay. I guess we fade non-basic land hate for a turn. They're drawing Recruiter of the Guard. So they run Witch Enchanters. And Witch Enchanters kill my permanents. Not a big fan of that. Speaking of, there's a Witch Enchanter. Hello. Oh, they kept a 1-lander. Oh, you know what that means, folks? I think I'm gonna Pithing Needle on that Ether Vial. I think that's the play. I'm gonna lead on Codex Shredder first. Let's see what their top card becomes. It's another Witch Enchanter. Okay, maybe I just double up on Codex Shredders this turn, and then next turn I'll worry about needling the Ether Vial. Yeah, they'll have Vial on 2, and they'll get to run out of Philia. There's a land. I will not let them have the land at any cost. That is the plan that I am committed to. Actually, you know what? Philia... what does Philia do again? Hold on. Let me pull up Scryfall really quick. Because if that bounces any permanent, exile up to one other target non-land permanent. So they can blink my Needle and continue to tick up the Vial. That's still really bad for them, though. And I can get a second Needle for Vial. Alright, game 2. That was fast. Alright. Iganjo means that they're almost definitely mono-white. We only saw white cards, so yeah, I think it's just mono-white Death and Taxes. I think I board in the Deluges. No, I don't board in the Deluges, do I? I'm not set up for this deck. I can tell you that for sure. This isn't another power conduit match. I'm getting way lost in the sauce here. I'm like way out in La La Land. I am a spaceman, just like power conduit man. Feed the Swarm might come in. They might run like ley lines and they might run temp lockdown. Or they probably don't run temp lockdown, just kidding. But Feed the Swarm is still removal at least that I could play. Yeah, I genuinely don't know what else I would add in the deck here. Pithing Needle was really good there, but I don't think that's really what we're in the business of this game. Welding Jar is going to be relevant for the Witch Enchanters. Fatal Push will be good. The Cookbook is going to be kind of mediocre. The Cage is going to be useless, probably. Yeah, I think I'd take out the book. Although the book does grow the constructs quite a bit. Oh, Felia bounces my constructs. That's annoying. I think I'm running it like this. I think I like the way this is built. I need to keep in mind as well, though, that my opponent can attack my mana and force me to draw basics. So basics in my hand are worse than they would normally be. Damn, what a league this has been. This has been crazy. Inquisition Needle Deluge is pretty weak. We're pretty far away from the Lantern Lock, and we're not tutoring anything out with this hand. And Needle doesn't really do a whole lot. But on the bright side, they will be very slow. Because I'll Inquisition them. If they keep a Vial, I can Needle the Vial. And they're just stuck playing on curve. I don't think I want to talk myself into this 7. I think I want to find better cards. Discard, removal, Saga, Whir. I'm down for this. They'll probably get rid of the Saga, make me fetch an island, and at least then the word is something. But, oh, there's a Ghost Quarter. Wow. Okay, turn 1 Vial. You got it. Okay, I will go Dark Slick. Did you keep a 1-lander again? No, you kept a 2-land, or you kept 3 lands, technically. Okay. The Arbiter is a big deal. Even Interrupter is kind of funny. I think I'd take the Arbiter here. Yeah, this turn they could have played the Arbiter. That would have been a little awkward. I guess I could have done Feed the Swarm on that. Never mind. The Interrupter doesn't really matter. Oh, that actually takes Whir of Invention. That's really annoying. Then I can't cast it for the X cost. Alright, opponent surveilled, and they kept their card on top. Ooh, Deluge is good. The Interrupter's a 2/2? Yeah, that's good. I might just run out the Saga and force them to answer it now. Then we'll try and tick up the Whir of Invention here. They do kind of need to consider their mana still. Their mana is not great if they decide to Ghost Quarter. Yeah, Vial's probably going to try and go to 3. Okay, so Needles are actually going to be important for like Ghost Quarters and Volatile Faults. So Needles do have their place. I should probably board in that 3rd Needle again to protect my Urza Saga. Did they find another Arbiter? Ooh, Stoneforge. Okay. That's another Needle target. Stoneforge reveals... Okay, I don't care about Lion Sash. You can have that one. Absolutely. It's yours. I think I just fire off the Deluge next turn. Clear the board here. Although, I'm playing this land. It would be nice for me to have some tokens on the table first. They're probably going to make me... They're probably going to Ghost Quarter me, though, realistically speaking. How big does this get? This eats permanents, right? Okay. Yeah, I'm down to make a construct. They only have 1 permanent in the graveyard. I only have 1 permanent. Ghost Quarter will be 2 permanents. I'm going to make them spend a turn dealing with the Saga. Okay, Witch Enchanter is out. They're going to blow up the Saga. I can stop the Sash from attacking this turn. Although that is a mana I would have liked to have. Flicker Wisp. Okay, perfect. Flicker Wisp on my construct. So they have committed very heavily to this board. And I will be able to wipe it all away next turn. Oh, and we even have a second Deluge, so the cost of this is not going to be that big of a deal. Was this 2 life? 2 life. I will pay 2 life. And they have a single Aven Interrupter. And they're not drawing good stuff either. I will take this Odawara, thank you. I am going to run out the Codex Shredder. They're not even going to bother with the Aven Interrupter. They're just going to wait until I have a spell that they care about. Gotcha. Do I Whir for 1? I think I try and bait out the Interrupter, and then I can feed the Swarm it. Let's try it. Yep. There's the Interrupter. That's okay. Aha! We have a bridge. Cool. We do have a major downside of not being able to protect the bridge. But Well, you know what? We could Whir. I could pay 2, Whir for 0, find the welding jar, just take a turn off. Find the jar. I guess I could have done that at instant speed. I didn't need to do that right away. Oh well. Keep the board clear. Beep beep. Last time, I jump in. I promise. But this one's a cool puzzle, I think. I just wanted to throw this in. This is the last time I butt in. I promise. But for starters, I casted Whir of Invention off the Aven Interrupter this turn, and then I cast Feed the Swarm afterwards. I didn't need to do it that way. It didn't really matter in the grand scheme of things because I wasn't going to use my mana at instant speed anyways, but it would have been more efficient for me to Feed the Swarm first and then Whir. I don't know why I did that, but that's not what I want to talk about. The thing I want to talk about is that I could have gotten Welding Jar and Bridge out in the same turn cycle. So I want to pose a puzzle of how do you do that and leave as much mana up as possible? So you can pause for a second if you want to think about it. I'll wait like 3 seconds. I'll count from 3 to 1 and then I'll go, okay? 3, 2, 1. Whir of Invention still has Improvise even though it's in exile right now. That means that the 2-mana tax that Aven Interrupter provides to spells, I can tap artifacts to pay for that cost. For Whir specifically. Which is very funny. So I could cast this Ensnaring Bridge, tap 3 mana, leave up this Darkslook Shores, I guess, so that both my colors are up, right? And then for Whir of Invention, I can tap this Codex Shredder and the Ensnaring Bridge for the 2 mana to Whir for 0, and then tutor out the Welding Jar. And then I even have a mana left up to, I don't know, scare my opponent or something. That's really cool. I never would have thought that I could use Improvise on tax effects like this when I'm casting stuff for free. If I didn't see this text box on the left side right here, which is hard to see, but it says, pay 2, Improvise. So if it wasn't for Moto reminding me that the spell had Improvise, I never would have caught this, and I didn't even catch it in game. So that's a weird quirk, huh? I didn't even have to tap mana. I would have just had to tap artifacts for it. I just thought that was really cool. Alrighty, back to the video. Let's close the series out here, huh? I'll just skip to end step. We're not going to be doing a whole lot this turn, I don't think. They have 3 Ghost Quarters on the table. Actually, that's very scary. If they just go in... If this is the massive mana attack step... Thankfully, I haven't drawn any basics. Oh, they're not going to bother? Okay. I will mill them. They don't have any graveyard synergies, I don't think. And they do have some Stoneforge targets I would like to get rid of. Ooh. You're holding a card. What is it? Don't think I haven't noticed. If it's Thalia, I'm going to be a little sad. Okay, it's Stoneforge. Gotcha. What do you find, Stoneforge Mystic? Phantom Blade. Attach it up to 1 creature, destroy it. I guess they've identified that they really don't want to draw that, and that card doesn't matter. Because there's no other reason for them to have tutored that just to let me discard it away. Seems very strange. So, good news. All we need is a Lantern or another Whir of Invention, and we're pretty much done with this game. The bad news is that if our opponent finds a Leonin Arbiter, all of our lands are gone. That is bad. I can't pay for any of them. Okay. Let's go draw some lands now, shall we? Yeah, they're gonna clog our hand now, and we're at 11, so we can't really afford to whiff for too long. Alright, never punished. You know what'd be really funny right now is if we find a cookbook. Cookbook would be really good. Oh, you know what? This fetch can't do anything. Just kidding. At least we can play the land out. That was important. But I should not crack the Delta. There's the Lantern. That's what we need to win. Okay, double Arbiter's fine. I need something that's not a fetch. I should keep milling them, though. That is another fetch. I have 1 more turn. Oh, whoops. I don't want that yield. Yep, you get in for 5. This is so funny. Okay. Yep, we're dead. Okay. That's wild. Opponent just nuked 4 of our lands in a single turn. These games have been incredible. Okay, I am boarding back in the Pithing Needle. What am I taking out? I don't think my opponent needs a strong lock, in order for me to beat them, so I'm just going to take out 8 Pixes. Their graveyard doesn't... Oh, they have Lion Sash for the graveyard, technically, but I don't think I really care about that. I'm just going to take out the Pixes. That was such a funny game. What a funny game that was. This is risky. It's also very slow, and my opponent attacks my mana aggressively. So this is a turn 1... I have turn 1 Lantern. I have turn 2 Pixis as well. I have Bauble for redraw. The Needles will slow down my opponent's mana denial plan, or Ether Vial, either one. And I have Fatal Push. This is a high roller hand. I don't know if I am supposed to keep this, at least not on 7. Maybe on 6 I can talk myself into this and bin a Needle, but I mean, the whole hand is castable. Okay. Turn 1 Saga, or turn 2 Saga is awesome. They do draw mana, though. And we know they have a second mana. Okay, there's the Ether Vial. Ephemerate's interesting. Okay, we'll draw a Saga. We'll draw a Shredder. I'll run out Saga. Play the Needle. I'll put that on Ether Vial. So that's the one card that they've shown us so far. And then I'll also run out a Shredder. And then I need to figure out what's going on with my top card next turn. Because that really needs to be a land. They can have Stoneforge, I'm not too worried about that. Okay, opponent has a 3rd mana as well. They probably bin their... They might bin their Stoneforge. Oh, they like it, huh? Okay, that's good to know. I'm going to look for a mana first. Oh. Let's try again. That is a Thoughtseize I cannot cast. Uh-oh. Yeah. Well, we're drawing it. I guess I run out Needle and name Stoneforge Mystic. I don't want this Deluge next turn. I could also just mill the Pixis, or with the Pixis, and then I can just use Pithing Needle, and it looks like they play, what, a place out of Ghost Quarters? I can just name Ghost Quarter. Oh, speaking of, there's a Ghost Quarter. Cool. Yeah, I really need to hit a land next turn, though. Matter of fact, I really need to hit multiple lands. Yeah, I don't need this Inquisition. I already have a Thoughtseize in my hand, and that probably just takes the Witch Enchanter. I took out the Cookbook, right? Yeah, I took out the Cookbook. Ah, White Orchid Phantom. Okay, so Saga's going away. Sure. I am honestly kind of relieved. Hey, mana, look at that. Our mana gets a lot cleaner this way. Next turn, I can Thoughtseize my opponent. I'll draw that. So with the Giver of Runes out, I'm not really going to be able to Fatal Push the Arbiter easily. So I think instead what I'm doing this turn is I'm just going to Fatal Push either the Phantom or the Giver of Runes. Probably the Phantom because it's a more aggressive clock. I'll Thoughtseize them, I'll see what's going on. So I'm going to shock this in. I'll start with the Thoughtseize. We know they have an Ephemerate that they can't cast this turn. And a Ghost Quarter. Oh, that's right, we knew they had the Ghost Quarter too. Never mind. So Witch Enchanter's gone. We'll get rid of the White Orchid, or, well, hold on. I'm going to shred them. White Orchid Phantom number 2 doesn't matter. They can have that one. I kind of want the Shredder for extra selection for a turn, because their clock is really bad. Iganjo is textless to me, it's just a land. Yeah, they're more than welcome to try and keep me off of black mana, that doesn't matter to me. Go Island. Oh, cool, we hit a Whir. That's really good. That looks for bridge. I don't see a reason I don't do this right now. 1, 2, 3. Grab the bridge. Ooh, extra needle's nice too. This is a pro-needle establishment. Call us the acupuncturist. Oh, but I don't really want them to have an arbiter, so I guess we'll see how this goes. Nope, they're done. No way. 4-1. Boom. And honestly, if we drew a little bit better, that could have been a 5-0. That felt good. That felt really good. Okay, it's been a long time since I've had a league that I really wanted to talk about. This is the league that I really want to talk about. What were those games? We started off with Energy, and we had Game versus Energy. They just happened to top deck really, really well. Maybe I'm going to have to go and review it, because maybe I didn't play it as tight as I should. But it's a rough matchup. You know, we can lose that. The Yogg games were wild. We did get a bit of a free roll against the Eldrazi Goryo's player. They weren't very interested in playing the game. They didn't like the deck, and it seemed like we had their number every single, or both the games that we played. Those last 2 games, though, what a wild ride those were. I don't even know where to begin. Okay, I really want to talk. I don't know what to talk about. So first off, let's talk about the power conduit. Huh? Huh? It was relevant. I have no idea if it's any good, realistically speaking, if it deserves to be a sideboard card, but we did find a time where it was useful, and it paid off. We established the combo. We put charge counters on Codex Shredders and Pixie. They didn't need them, but we had them. It was very funny. Consigned to memory, I don't remember. Did it come up? I did like having access to it at least, so I think this should stay in the board. I might go up to 2. I think 1 is not enough to be reliable. I'm not really sure what to cut, though. Yeah, list felt good. The list felt really good. There were times where we flooded out, but that's just how decks work sometimes. I think I'm getting a little bit better about my hand keeps as well. Yeah, I think this deck is good. Now, full caveat, okay? We played against some opponents that made some questionable hand keeps, and we played against some weird decks. So if there's anything that you take away from this game, I have no idea how this is supposed to function in the proper meta. This was not the video for you to learn that. But did the list hold its own in the wild? Absolutely. Absolutely it did. Every single best of 3, we put up a good fight. And that's all I have for you today, really. If you want to try out this deck list, go check out the Mox Field. Link in the description down below. My account is on there so you can see all the Lantern decks and other archetypal decks that I play, but you can also check out this particular list and all of the version history on it. This version is going to be the September 5th, 2024 version. If you want to talk to some other folks about Lantern cards, learn about the deck, try and tune your own list, talk about gameplay patterns, sideboarding decisions, things like that, there's a link to the Lantern Community Discord in the description as well. I'm a regular there, so if you want to talk to me, then you can, ping me, say hi. I'll respond. I'm usually pretty good about responding. Yeah, that's all I have today. Without further ado, take care, everybody.